What is a seemingly superhuman ability that's natural to humans? The ability to smell rain from far away. I don't know the specifics, but it's something humans are ridiculously sensitive to. It's ozone. During a storm, the lightning can shred nitrogen and oxygen molecules, which can lead to ozone forming lower in the atmosphere than usual, and we can smell it. A lot of people don't realize that we're the best endurance running animal on the planet and have the best throw. Those two things are what really helped us survive in prehistory. I've heard that we're the best pursuit predators. Basically, humans just kept following the prey until it's too fatigued to run away or collapses and the human could kill it. Obviously, this is a massive simplification, but that combined with our accurate throwing made humans excellent terrifying predators. Sweat. We're one of the only animals on Earth who are capable of sweating, giving us the unique ability to cool our bodies off while running. Most animals have to stop and pant for a minute or two to regain stamina. I was hunting for this answer. Not only are we one of the few animals that sweats, our sweat as a cooling mechanism is unique. Most of us can hear the difference whether either cold or nearly boiling water is being poured. Try it out. The amount of power and ability a human can achieve with just a kick of adrenaline and how adaptable we are in a short span of time. Adrenaline has been known to make people so hyped, they have been shot and still kept running. That a new mom adjusts her body temperature to their baby's temperature. This even goes so far that for twins, both sides of the mom's body can have different imperators to fit both babies' needs. When you said newborn mom, I imagined a pregnant baby and was worried for a sec. The whole concept of adrenaline. So not only can we do all of these amazing things mentioned in the other comments like throwing and lifting and running and surviving, but if our brains tell us we're in active danger, suddenly we're even better at them. Like you can be the kind of person who gets winded bringing in groceries and suddenly you're capable of lifting a car. It's dope that I turn into the Flash every time a spider gets a little bit too close to me. Our immune system. When microscopic bad guys get into our blood, these badass cells chase and eat them, then rip them apart and present their limbs and chunks of flesh on their body to make sure the long-term immune system learns to recognize those bastards. They basically grab the pathogen's severed head and hold it up to their bodies, screaming, "Kill anyone that looks like this." I would love to see anti-Superman comic book where an average human, not even a guy with a high IQ, is now on an alien planet, and all of his average abilities are seen as super alien, almost like John Carter of Mars, but even more tongue-in-cheek. We're much stronger than most people realize. We're capable of incredible feats of strength, but they cause damage to the body, so our body has mechanisms, mostly pain, that stop us from using our full potential strength. Yeah, like I read that when people grab onto an electrical line and go flying through the air, it's our muscles contracting extremely forcefully which cause us to go flying through the air. Our instincts, or gut feelings about something, it's often little observations that we don't even think about but that register in our decision-making process. I was going to post the same thing. The fact that we can sense that something isn't right is pretty remarkable. Comedy. Telling a story that makes people laugh is a superhuman ability, yet anybody can manage it even if it's just a chuckle. Dogs apparently laugh too. Their breathy ha 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 sound when playing is considered to be a laugh, so our closest ally in the animal kingdom also has some concept of comedy, and monkeys are nature's jesters. Our social systems are incredibly complex. Supplying food to the group is distributed over thousands or even millions of people you've never met, and we all just accept and trust this to work. Well, I don't actually trust it to work. I have paid for it to work. When I purchase meat in the market, for instance, my purchase enables that chain. But you're absolutely right that it is freaking amazing that we've organized everybody in such a fashion to provide so many services. Humans are the best long distance runners in nature. The only animals that can keep up with us are dogs and horses specifically bred for this purpose, and even those lose to us in hot days. Even old humans can become marathonists. I'm always amazed at hand-eye coordination and depth perfection. For instance, to hit or catch something, we don't look at our hands. We look at the thing we are trying to hit and our hands find a way to that location. I think it's pretty cool. The fact that to throw something the signal has to be sent from the brain to release milliseconds before our arm has completed its arc is awesome. You can figure out what something will feel like on your tongue by looking at it. You think it's BS at first, but then you start looking around and realize, yes, I imagine this would feel like this on my tongue, and then you lick it and prove yourself right. That just proves how much we went around licking things as a kid to get that experience. It's a little disturbing. Not specific to humans, but is anyone else just amazed that we can heal ourselves? Viral infection, body heats up and deploys immune cells to target infected cells and remove them. Got a cut? Within minutes the blood coagulates to stop the bleeding, immune cells attack any foreign bacteria that enter the wound, and the skin mends itself. It's pretty amazing what our bodies can do. I accidentally stabbed a giant hole in my knee, and it was absolutely fascinating watching it heal. I was sure it would need stitches because there was such a big gap, but skin is magic. There's a massive scar there, but I feel that's fair enough. My skin deserves everyone to see what an epic job it had to do. Communication and written language. We managed to pass down thousands of years of knowledge, to refine it over the ages, to learn everything our ancestors added to the line in order to purify it, to the point where we as cultures, without any interaction, developed calendars and even learned to predict eclipses and comets, a massive cosmovision way before digital calculation. No other creature shares knowledge in that way. No other creature shares knowledge in that way, that we know of. We can eat things that are poisonous to many other species. Caffeine kills a lot of animals. We like how it makes brain go brrrrrrr. Capsaicin is a toxin meant to deter predators. We think it tastes yummy, and actively breed for more of it in higher concentrations. Alcohol is technically toxic as well, but to us it's a fun social lubricant. Mold can be deadly to many species, but we encourage it to grow on cheese. Cocoa. No idea what the toxic component is called, but cats and dogs and many other cannot eat it because it is actually toxic. Our body however can metabolize it quite well. We all have extremely good vision. Before life or bad luck with genes freaks that up. So much so that if the world was completely flat then we could all see for miles. Not fine details or anything, but enough so that we could identify objects as what they are and not just blurred images. The ability to forge weapons and tools. We're one of the few species on Earth built without a physical defensive or offensive body part. Most creatures have claws, sharp teeth, hard shells. You get my point. We have to build all of our defensive and offensive tools by hand. The fist is actually a pretty effective weapon, and not seen in most primates. Their hand bones are too long. If you have ever seen a child learning to walk, you know how complicated it actually is. Keeping your weight balanced on 2 feet and walking or running, which is basically falling with style over and over, is so much more complex than we realize. And even though it's so difficult, kids don't give up trying. They teach themselves by trial and error. I wonder how much of it is attempting to emulate their parents. Enjoying spicy food. I heard that humans are the only ones who like to eat spicy food. Animals absolutely hate it. After all, plants are spicy because they don't want to get eaten, and we humans just turned everything around in mayo. Maybe that's the best thing that could have happened to spicy plants. The species survived because it didn't get eaten by animals. Then those hairless monks decided that food has to hurt and started planting more of them. Similar to tobacco, cannabis or coffee. How accurately we can throw a ball. I'm always amazed whenever I'm playing catch how I can seemingly just fling the ball up in the air and it's always on target. Yeah, mine isn't always on target, lol. Some humans can create a whole new person inside of them, being able to just close a wound and regenerate certain parts of your body like bones and skin. Being able to recognize faces from one another even if they're really similar. Our ability to emotionally attach and feel empathy for fictional characters someone else The amount of info we can hold in our brain. Just think about everything I have in there. I can still remember like 100 Pokemon from when I was like 5. When you recall a memory, your brain forms a new memory from that recollection and stores that. Over time, your memories become skewed because they change slightly every time you recall them. Ionid. Some women have the ability to know exactly when they've released an egg for fertilization. They feel a slight twinge in their side called Mittelschmerz pain. I know even from which ovary the egg is popping. LOL. But some of us women don't feel it, and for some it's not just a slight twinge. I sometimes need to take a painkiller cause it feels more like a cramp. Distance running. Surprisingly, other creatures can't do it. Early hunters would just keep running until the faster animals got tired. Not very superhuman, as a lot of animals do it too, but goosebumps happen when you're cold or scared, which don't seem related, but it's because when we were still covered in hair, goosebumps would make your hair stand up and make you look bigger too. Anything that could be attacking you, reacting to being scared, or to better insulate your body, reacting to being cold. Something everyone has overlooked is domestication of animals. Like, we're so good that they saw it beneficial to join us, or were tamed and enslaved, and are reaping the benefits. As adaptable as we are, we're still limited, so our ability to breed and train animals to help us with tasks is impressive, but also often morally wrong. For example, using horses as mounts, ox and cows for their muscle in agriculture, and any other ridiculous thing we've trained animals to do. It's essentially using our superior intellect to make other species to do something in a way that is somewhat mutually beneficial. Natural to humans specifically, throwing things with force. Long distance running. Being able to learn by watching other people do things, fail to do things. Super precise communication between members of the species. Being able to learn by watching other people do things, fail to do things. I wish more people were good at this. I struggle to understand people that are unable to learn from the mistakes of others. Most people don't know that we as humans are one of the only species that has near super smell for a scent known as petrichor. It's essentially the smell of wet dirt, but more precisely, it's the smell right after a rain. We evolved to detect it from great distances because of finding good land for crops. I don't know that it's exclusive to humans, but it's always seemed superhuman to me that we can feel when someone is looking at us. They can even be behind us, or in another car on the highway, but we can feel it, and that's very cool. Yeah, cool, until you're walking alone at night getting on the metro and you get that feeling. It only comes with ADHD, at least I think, but it's hyperfocus. I could be on a game, then not hear people talking to me in the game, or I roll. Then the next minute, I can't focus at all. It's weird. I heard that ADHD to a prehistoric sense from hunter-gatherers. Basically, people with ADHD were those who were hunting or were warriors, so they were either able to detect when an animal was near, or they were able to know when an enemy was coming close. I see my ADHD as a prehistoric superpower. That up to 15% of women may be tetrachromatic, while the rest of us are trichromatic. Trichromates, the rest of us, have 3 types of rod receptors in our eyes, and can differentiate about 1 million different colors. Tetrachromates, on the other hand, have 4 different types of rods in the eyes along with 4 channels to pass this info to the brain, and can differentiate about 100 million different colors, as well as light that falls outside normal humans' visible spectrum of light. Throwing accurately. Even most monkeys can't do it, they just spray and pray, lol. We can especially hit targets very accurately while the target is moving, and it's much easier to hit a falling coin in the air than hitting a bullseye from the same distance. Actually, hitting a falling coin while you are handing upside down is easier than hitting a bullseye because that's how optimized our brain is to accurately hit moving objects. Interestingly, pro archers suck more than complete amateurs in archery because they had to recalibrate their mind after they forcefully adapted it to hit a 2D unmoving object, which is very unnatural. We also have one of the most stamina between all the animals. We can win a marathon against a horse all because of the superpower that is sweating. Long-term memory. I know some animals have it too, but basically the difference between us and us, if we take out time to count the number of enemies, we can relay it to our fellow humans. But we suck at counting how many enemies there are right away. On the other hand, monkeys can count the amount of enemies in high numbers super quickly, but they forget, so they can't relay it to other monkeys in their clan. So short-term versus long-term memory. I'm not sure how unique this is to humans, but our language systems are so complex that basically anyone can generate a sort of unique and novel thought concept, and then manage to implant that concept into someone else's brain with just some sounds, or even just symbols like this post. Like, Sure, elephants may have a special sound that means there are bees over there. Don't go there. But I can say, hey, there's aren't any bees over there. But I put a giant pile of honey mixed with dog poop so that you can take a bath in it, and the flies combined with the honey scent might trick you into thinking there are bees there, and now I've bamboozled you all into picturing this bizarre, imaginary situation. The ability to continue to function even when going through the most traumatic experience of our lives. I remember going to Walmart after a family tragedy because of course we needed groceries, and walking through there thinking, how am I even standing right now? None of these people even know that my whole world ended 2 hours ago, but I was doing it. The ability of our feet to keep taking steps even when the ground has fallen from beneath us, I have learned, is our greatest superhuman strength. 1783. Montgolfier bros build a balloon capable of carrying people into the air. 186 years later, humans land on the moon. What the frick? That is an evolutionary blink of an eye. 200-ish years ago, the fastest human beings traveled was on particularly fast horse or falling off a cliff, but today intercontinental travel takes a matter of hours, and the basic human brain hasn't changed except it's probably getting fed better. If chimpanzees had developed the ability to make specialized throwing rocks in the past 200 years, we would be suitably impressed, but don't forget that humanity is currently going through so many technological and social revolutions, we simply call it the information age, as if that puts any of the weight deserved on the era in which we live. God dang. Crap's crazy. Teacher, what's the difference between animals and humans? Teacher, humans are capable of making pee. Animals just have to accept whatever's in front of them. I felt like self-consciousness and awareness could be here. Humans are the only species known to have self-consciousness. Some people with low-level autism are able to look at something once and then draw it perfectly, down to the finest details. There's an artist who can do that while in a helicopter. He looks down once and then draws the cityscape and the people walking down below. Supposedly we all can do it, but our minds have too much noise. Funny enough, we technically could all do it. It is not an ability he gained. It is one he lost. Our brains do a massive amount of filtering, ordering and disregarding. That is why we cannot recall all the details we took in, because we have been trained for years ago. Ignore those because they are not relevant. That is also because eyewitnesses are super inaccurate. Usain Bolt can run with 44 km per hour while my max sprint on my bike is about 38 km per hour on flat road. Just the facts alone scared me a little. The human linguistic system. The fact that we can learn complex languages and how to speak them just by listening and imitating our caretakers and the people around us. The number of different languages we have managed to develop. Many of them derive from the same initial ancestral language but are completely different in this day and age. Animals obviously communicated, but no other species has a linguistic system and languages resembling what humans have to express themselves. Absolutely fascinating in my opinion. Language. We do not realize how much of a superpower that is. We are literally able to receive messages from people that lived thousands of years ago. Language is in itself the most basic cause of our evolution. Language has allowed us to transfer knowledge across generations and has basically shaped all of our reasoning power. We think with our language, we communicate with our language, and we definitely reason with our language. It has given us the power of conceptualizing and allowed us to give meanings to all sorts of objects and thoughts. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.